right, students, let's see how chapter 7 ends. So back at Tom's house, Nick waits outside and finds Gatsby hiding in the bushes. Gatsby says that he has been waiting there in order to make sure that Tom did not hurt Daisy. He tells Nick that Daisy was driving when the car struck Myrtle, but that he himself will take the blame. Still worried about Daisy, Gatsby sends Nick to check on her. Nick finds Tom and Daisy eating cold fried chicken and talking. They have reconciled their differences, and Nick leaves Gatsby standing alone in the moonlight. And there is a YouTube video that you can watch to show this scene. And so let's take a look at our questions for this. So who struck Myrtle with the yellow car? So we find out that Daisy was actually driving. And now this is pretty bad. So Tom was having an affair with Myrtle, and Daisy hits Myrtle with a car. In a court of law, Daisy could definitely be found guilty of murder. The thing is that we don't actually know if Daisy knew Myrtle was Tom's mistress. She probably didn't. It's probably just a coincidence, but it could look really bad. And I don't think any of them realized this except for Tom. And maybe he's even told Daisy just how much trouble she could be in if the truth comes out. And maybe that's what they're talking about at the table when they're eating chicken and drinking beer, which is supposed to be super casual. It indicates the fact that Daisy and Tom have completely reconciled, that they're eating dinner together, a casual, friendly dinner, and that Daisy's totally back with Tom because he keeps her safe and she feels comfortable with him. And so we can see a scenario here where Tom has told Daisy just how much trouble she could really be in, and Daisy's just completely submitted to letting Tom take over because she's so scared that she could go to jail or possibly receive a death sentence or something. And so Gatsby, on the other hand, he isn't thinking of himself. While Daisy and Tom are thinking of themselves, Gatsby isn't thinking of himself, he's thinking of Daisy. And he says that he's going to take the blame for the accident because Gatsby still loves her. And Gatsby clearly hasn't quite realized yet that he's lost Daisy. He hasn't realized this yet. And it's gonna be a hard thing for him to realize because for so long, Daisy has been his only goal and his only dream. And so it's going to be a difficult thing for him to accept that she's chosen Tom over him. And so with question 3, originally the yellow car symbolized ostentatious wealth. What does the car symbolize now? So earlier when we first see Gatsby's yellow car and there's the yellow, everything at Gatsby's parties are described as yellow, particularly all the lights. So all the lights are on in the house and the house is glowing yellow and people are wearing yellow dresses and all this stuff. So yellow at the beginning of the novel definitely symbolizes kind of this ostentatious wealth that is a joyous expression of the wealthy, particularly the newly wealthy, the West Egg wealthy. If you think about what color might symbolize wealth for the kind of the old money, the East Egg money, it's gold. So gold and yellow kind of operate similarly, except gold is for old money and yellow is for new money. And so the yellow car symbolized the ostentatious wealth of the newly wealthy, and that was all embodied in the yellow car. However, now the yellow car symbolizes something much more sinister. And so I want for you to consider what is it that the color yellow symbolizes, and also what the car might symbolize, this car that's killed Myrtle, and that Gatsby's willing to take the blame for, despite the fact that Daisy has left him. So how do we know that Daisy will not confess to the crime and will not return to Gatsby? Why is this unfair? We know this from what Nick sees when he looks through the window, Daisy and Tom eating chicken, drinking beer. And why is this unfair? I mean, it's unfair because he didn't do it. And so Gatsby has essentially allowed himself to be taken advantage of here. All right, that is the end of chapter 7. So I will see you in the next video for chapter 8.